Hello and welcome, beautiful souls, to my channel, Light of Shaya. My channel is all about illuminating the spiritual path forward and bringing you uplifting messages of love and light. Thank you so much for being here. So, I'm feeling pretty tired today. I have not been able to sleep well for the last 3 nights. So if you notice a slight change in my demeanor, my enthusiasm, that's pretty much what it is. So, thank you so much for being here. I did post a video about urgent messages from Spirit yesterday, or June, what is it, 23rd? I lose track of time, guys. I think it was the 25th, actually. No, 24th, something like that. One of those dates, 2020. For those of you watching at a later date, I recommend that video for you who have been dealing with relationship patterns. It's a bit of a stern message. I'll give you a heads up now. I felt Spirit was trying to come out with a tough love in that video. However, the video is coming from a place of compassion and understanding because I've been through all of it. I've been through the third-party situations. I've been through the narcissistic parent issue. I've been through the abandonment issues. Daddy issues, mommy issues, all the stuff, guys. All the stuff. Depression, self-harm. I practiced self-harm at one point in my life. I have scars all over my left arm. This isn't for pity, guys. This is for showing you how far a person can come despite how difficult their lives can be. My soul chose to incarnate on this planet with these particular lessons to learn. Perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. See the beauty in that? The congruence there? It's like, look at this. Surrender. I can release my need to control. This is a really important one. This one. Oh, my tummy's rumbling. All right, forgiveness. Yeah, forgiveness. Forgiveness is incredibly important. So, the reason I started this channel was to illuminate the spiritual path, all that good stuff. The spiritual path is about self-healing, guys. If you're not, for some of you who are new to it, it's all about self-healing. It's about self-healing. It's about self-awareness. It's about becoming stronger. It's about digging deep during the times where you feel like the world is crumbling around you. It's about the worship of Spirit. It's about understanding your power and the interconnectedness of everything. So I'm doing something a little bit different, setting up the cards first. That way you guys have something to look at basically while I'm channeling here. But for those of you, once again, who've been dealing with narcissists, I really want to touch on that. All of us fall on the scale of the narcissist empath, like on one part of the spectrum, okay? We all suffer from narcissistic traits, but if you are more of an empath, sorry, I just felt that card wanted to come out. If you're more attuned to the empath, the path of the empath, or you fall on the spectrum closer to that of a true empath, then you'll recognize that you have work to do. The narcissist does not have that self-awareness. The moment you point out a flaw to the narcissist, the true narcissist, they will refuse to hear it. It's like, oh no, they'll turn it on you. They will turn it on you somehow, some way. If you're dealing with the narcissist, the idea here is that you do not give them attention. Okay. Just there was a channel I was watching a while back where one of the worst words for a narcissist to hear is whatever. It's invalidating them. The narcissist is so full of themselves that they want everything to revolve around them. Okay, I guess it's this one. This one came out with this one, but I was like, I don't know if that's right. And so the narcissist will do whatever it takes to maintain power, to maintain control, to self-aggrandize themselves. The empath is the opposite. Usually the empath is so sensitive, so sweet, so caring that they think that they're weak. You guys that are empaths likely know what I'm talking about. Like, oh no, you likely have experienced a great deal of abuse throughout the entirety of your life. And some of you may not even be aware of the level of abuse that has happened. Some of you have been so unaware that you haven't seen these patterns. And the only reason I say that is because I was there. In my case with my mother, I respected her. And more so as of lately, I've noticed because I've been alone for a good while now. And I noticed the patterns and I said to myself, whoa. It was almost as everything kind of just was laid bare. Like the veil fell from before my eyes and I realized she has been keeping me small. Everything that I ever tried doing in my life, it was almost as if she never believed in me. She never will, and that's okay. I don't need her to believe in me. You know why? Because the power doesn't lie within the perceptions of other people. The power lies in the perception of yourself. Wow, look at this. Skunk spirit. Know your worth. Man. Canary spirit. Sing your own song. And koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. I'll likely read out of the book for the skunk spirit here. I'll be reading out of the book for the Isis Oracle. These have like 2.5 pages worth of information, so I'm just going to kind of peruse them and read what kind of resonates at the time. So some of you have been likely trying to do what Beaver Spirit does, laying a solid foundation in your life. And these narcissists, these people in your life, they come in various forms. They come in as friends, family, coworkers, bosses. My God, if it's a boss, I'm sorry, but you should likely find yourself another job. You got to know your worth, guys. Your worth is so incredibly important. Okay, I'm being told to just pull from the bottom of the deck. This is interesting. I've never done this before. I'll keep these on the side here, but if you guys are wondering what they are, we got the 4 discs, the Emperor, the Princess of Wands. I just want to get through this. I'm just going to pull all the cards. That way you guys don't have to wait for everything. We got the Priestess, the Star, the 2 of Wands, and then at the bottom of the deck we have the Universe. So some sort of major cycle closing up soon for you guys. But so it's important for you guys to do the work. I'm sorry to tell you, but nobody can do the work for you. I learned that the hard way. There's nobody. Nobody will help you. I'm sorry. Nobody will help you more, rather, than you can help yourself. You can go to a counselor and a psychologist and all that, and they'll help you work through it. But at the end of the day, the psychologist is only helping you get inside of your own head. The path of self-healing. See, the powerful thing about you being a light worker, you being a starseed, you being a 6th density being or whatever, because a lot of you are likely that. I came into that awareness myself. I don't know how it works because, I went through the veil of forgetting just like you did. For those of you who don't know about it, I think it's called the Law of One. You guys should look into it. But 6th density beings are beings that are this close. I mean, in the cosmic time and scale, because it could be actually like tens of thousands of years before they ascend to the 7th density. And I believe the 7th density is the one that is in attunement with the all, merging with the all. Yeah, that feels about right. Being one of these beings of light, the 6th density has a very hard time understanding self-love. So likely, if you're drawn to my channel, you're likely a higher density being, something like a 5th dimensional or 5th density, 6th density, something along those lines. Because these beings have a very hard time understanding self-love. And so you came down here to learn self-love. And this is going to resonate for the people who are struggling with knowing their worth, okay? For those of you who aren't, it doesn't matter the fucking densities. It doesn't matter, dude. The ego loves to take control. Interesting, like saying that, like the solar plexus area, my gut just kind of clenched up a little bit saying that. The ego loves to establish control. It loves to attach itself to a title and then self-aggrandize itself. It's narcissistic in nature. And it was a part of our DNA, as a human experience. It's part of the human experience, guys. When you come down here and you're living as a human being, it's part of the human experience. Same thing with Lightworker Starseed. Who cares about the title? You have a job to do here. That's it. It's not about being this, oh my God, I'm so attuned to the divine, whatever. We all are. Even the lower density, whatever, beings, they are also attuned to spirit, because Christ consciousness isn't about making yourself better and more than others. It's about making yourself equal to the all, equal to everybody. There's everybody's equal, even the murderer. And that's a very hard concept to grasp, because we live in a dual plane. Check out the Hermetic principles if you're not familiar with them. If you are, well, That's fantastic because you understand what I'm talking about. Duality is a part of our nature. And speaking of duality, some of you out there are likely on the twin flame path, and it's very important that you step into your soul's mission. What is your soul calling you to do? And if you have an inkling about it, try it. If it's wrong, guess what? You learned. That's the worst thing that can happen. You screwed up, it's fine. Now you can move on with your life and try something else. And if that doesn't work, guess what? You do it again and again, and then eventually you'll figure it out. In my case, I tried to force myself into the 3D. I said, I'm going to move myself up at Starbucks because I worked at Starbucks for about 5 years. I was promised a promotion this year, 2020, but things kind of went to shit, right? And I'm so thankful that they did, because if not, I wouldn't be here delivering these messages and actually answering my soul's calling. Everything works in accordance with the divine plan. There is a tapestry that we cannot see that is being constantly woven, and we're part of the threads that make up that tapestry. So let's get into the oracle cards here. The only person that can heal you of anything in this life is you. When it comes to the traumas that you've gone through, when it comes to the pain, when it comes to dealing with people, it's very important that you understand this concept. Because if you don't, you're going to end up feeling lost, and you're always going to end up trying to find yourself, which is great. I mean, if you need to go on a little bit of self-discovery, do it, but don't expect somebody to save you. A lot of the times when you get into relationships, you're trying to find somebody that saves you. Nobody can save you. I'm sorry to tell you, there is not a single soul on this planet that can save you but yourself. So I'm going to get into the scales of balance here. It says Ancient Tantra of the Soul. You are a Tantrika, an initiate on the path of divine healing of the masculine and feminine, the two sacred polarities that are universal to human experience. As these energies come into mutual respect and balance, you attain great power, presence, and healing effect in the world of the soul and in the human world of forms here on this earth. You are supported in further exploring this path now under the auspices and blessings of beloved Isis. See, this is why the channeling is so important. And I suggest in future videos, if you watch my channel, to stick around for the channeling, because some people just want to get into the cards. No, it's not. There's a whole ass message in the channeling. But do you see how I was talking about duality, polarities, twin flame journey? We're talking about the divine masculine, divine feminine here. In order for you to come into union with your twin, whoever that may be, doesn't matter. It's just a physical avatar. It's an energy. Twin flame is an energy that you deal with. Am I in union right now? No, but I know that since I'm following this path, I will be at some point. And even if I'm not physically 3D, I don't care. Because this isn't about my twin, it's about me. And the same thing goes for you. It's not about your twin. For those of you who are obsessed with the twin idea, because I know I've been there before, and it's incredibly toxic. It's incredibly toxic because you're constantly thinking about them, you're constantly pining, you're constantly wanting, you're craving, you're desiring. And guess what? That pushes them away. And it pushes you away from yourself because you're so focused, fixated on the other. Surrender. It's time to surrender yourself to the divine, to your divine purpose. The moment you start to attune yourself with that, you'll start to see how the universe co-creates with you. You are in the process of sacred relationship healing of the divine masculine, divine feminine energies within your own soul. This is the advanced spiritual path of Tantra. It is a connection of the body and soul. The effect of this inner divine relationship healing is a genuine enlightenment of the mind and the body. The body becomes a living sacred temple of light, energy, and wild aliveness. This embodiment can be experienced in movement, in deep stillness, in vitality, and in quietness. So, for those of you who haven't been paying attention to your body, it's time to start to pay attention to it. What are you putting into your body? What kind of foods are you eating? Are you eating low vibrational foods? High vibrational foods are raw foods, fruits, veggies. So I mean, it doesn't mean you have to eat a freaking salad every day. But are you consuming meat? Because if you're consuming that, it's a very low vibrational food. Why? Because if you haven't looked into it, these poor creatures are slaughtered, and they release adrenaline and the fear, the very low vibrational energies. This is all a part of the path of self-service, because If you look into the law of one, there's two different paths. There's the path of light and love, that of the what is in attunement with the divine, the all, the true path, and then there's the path of self-service. These beings reach, I believe, up to fourth or fifth density, and these are what a lot of people considered like evil, demonic, that kind of stuff. And so, by consuming these creatures, consuming their flesh, you're practicing a form of self-service in an extreme way, and it doesn't appear that way because it's been normalized by society. And now there's no reason for us to do this anymore. In the past, it made sense. In the past, it made sense for survival of the human being, but we're long past that. You're not an apex predator anymore. We go to grocery stores to buy our food. Shit, some of us get it delivered to our home. We don't even have to step foot outside the house. See how privileged we are? God damn. At least here in the US, because first world country, you know, all that fantastic stuff. I felt that message needed to come out very, very strongly. But it says here, I'm going to read another excerpt here. Some people mistakenly believe that Tantra is simply about sexuality, but it is in truth the journey of the soul to bring masculine and feminine polarities into wholeness, love, unity, and empowerment, to learn to be enlightened, to be the enlightened path in every element of your being. This is soul-building work, and that is great service to the spiritual healing and evolution of humanity, which is in deep need of those, such as yourself, who can help create sacred connection between mind and body. So you see how this is why the channeling like freaks me out sometimes, because I'm talking about twins and stuff. This is likely a twin flame reading. It doesn't have to be. Everybody technically is on the twin journey. We're all trying to fix the polarities within us. We're all trying to blend the divine masculine, divine feminine. This card for me just screams twin flame in this particular deck. The yin and the yang, the infinity symbol. You are in infinite union with your twin. But the idea here is your twin is no different from you, one, and your twin is no different from anybody else, because we're all one. The idea of looking for that special someone it's the idea of trying to fix yourself through somebody else. Somebody coming into your life isn't going to magically fix you. I'm sorry to have to tell you that for those of you who may believe that on an intrinsic level. Some of you may even be resisting the idea that I'm talking about right now. Why do I know that? Because I was there. My ego didn't let me see anything outside of this. I'm like, no, this is my twin. I'm so sure of it. I'm this and that. That was my ego talking. So remember, it's time to come into union with yourself. It's time to follow the path of self-healing. It's time for you to heal your soul. What are the patterns that you have? What are the cycles that you keep repeating? If you're attracting the same people into your life, what is it that you're contributing to? And a lot of the times, guys, you might not even notice it. I didn't for a very long time until recently. I'm very thankful that I had somebody come into my life, even though I ruined that relationship, because I saw a lot of potential. I just so happened to be clairvoyant. And when I see people, potential partners, I can see the future with them. And for a long time, I just thought that was my imagination, but I'm realizing now it's not that. It's actually more. Sometimes you can see the potential with people and you're like, whoa, this could be the rest of our lives. That's incredible. I want this. And then the wanting makes you desire it more. And then you're searching for it. The completion doesn't come from another person though. If it was meant to be, it would be. So I pushed this person away, and I didn't recognize that at first. But because of my narcissistic parent, my mother, she instilled in me the need to be perfect. The need to be perfect. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, perfectionism, da da da. Perfectionism is incredibly unhealthy. Incredibly unhealthy. It's so incredibly unhealthy. There's no such thing as perfect, especially on this plane with the dual opposites. It's okay to make mistakes. And for the longest time, I would beat myself up for any little mistake that I would make because I suffered abuse from a narcissistic parent. I was expected to behave a certain way, to look a certain way, to understand things in a certain way. And interestingly enough, at the same time, I was expected to be small. to not be able to speak my voice, my truth, what it was that I wanted in my life. The moment I strived for anything good in my life, it was almost as if my mother resisted. You know, I love playing guitar. I love singing. My father will straight up tell me, and he's a wonderful person now, but he was a meth addict, and he suffered from narcissistic abuse on my mother's behalf, and he had some narcissistic tendencies as well, but not to the extent of my mother. He would say, "Son, you have a beautiful voice. You play the guitar so well." I never heard that from my mother once. Never. It's funny. It hurts me saying that because you're still constantly looking for approval. But you know what? You don't need that approval from anybody. That approval comes from within. Do whatever that makes you happy. Don't listen to anybody else. All right. So pillar of light. Beings of light and divinity are calling you now. They wish to connect with you more strongly, and you are being guided to strengthen your energy field to allow more of the divine light that seeks you to flow through your body safely and into expression. You are a beloved initiate. You're called to allow more divine energy and light to emanate from your body to help build your light body so that the love and healing of the cosmic feminine energies of the Star of Isis can descend through you, offering healing light and assistance to humanity, and setting your own heart and soul on fire with divine love and passion. A lot of you are currently ascending. Remember how I was, I'm not sure if I mentioned that for this earlier in the reading for this particular part, but before what I started recording, or so I thought, and I had already pulled cards and everything, and I realized that I could have sworn it started recording, but I guess it didn't. So I'm just going to check to make sure it is. Okay, it is now. And I'm guessing that the message that I was delivering before this was actually just a tiny bit off, because it was very similar, but it was just a tiny bit off. I was talking about the ascension process before the videos, this particular part of the video, because like I said, I had to shuffle all the cards back in and pull them all out again. And one of the things that I was talking about was that right now we're going through an upgrade, and a lot of you are likely having sleepless nights, experiencing weird feelings, maybe even some forms of anxiety or like pullings of the solar plexus, sacral chakra areas, like a sense of not dread, but it just feels very uncomfortable. Some of you may experience buzzing in certain areas, headaches, even nausea for some. And you're probably wondering what the heck's going on. Right now, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted because I haven't been able to sleep for the last 3 nights. And now I'm realizing that this is part of the ascension process. We're all going through an upgrading. This year is all about change and upending structures. So I'm going to read another excerpt here. The Star of Isis, also known as Sirius, rests in a state of bliss, joy, and has a soul presence of heart, great strength, and stunning spiritual light. This is the consciousness seeking to manifest more fully in service through you now, beloved initiate. You are becoming more and more ready to sustain such high vibrations. So this card is asking you to start a practice. Once you start this practice, you will get a sense of how often feels right for you. If you do it often, perhaps more than once a day, you may feel lightheaded. Oh goodness, I just got a ringing in my ear. You may feel lightheaded or ungrounded, too hot or cranky, hormonal or overheated inside, out of balance emotionally, and just not enjoying your practice. Moderation will lead you more quickly into success. I think that was a specific message for me because I'm feeling exhausted and yet I'm still doing this right now. Because I got the feeling that today might have needed to be a rest day, but there was just something that I felt maybe was a calling that I needed to get something out here. Anyway, so as you can see the congruence in these cards, right now we're going through a spiritual ascension process, and we're being asked to heal the divine masculine, divine feminine energies within. Let's get into the cards now. I'm going to get into the oracle cards here, and then we'll get into the tarot in a little bit here. So perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. We have surrender. I can release my need to control. And forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. That's an incredibly important one. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing the congruence in these cards. They're telling me a story here. And interestingly enough, before I started the reading, I recognized that I have some anger towards my mother after having discovered what I did. And in a sense, I think I'd always held some form of resentment because she also kicked me out at one point for my beliefs. This stuff, I have to hide from her. because I was raised Jehovah's Witness and this is of the devil and all that stuff. It's a shame because some of you likely have experienced some of this ridiculing of your belief systems, ridiculing you for who you are. If you've dealt with the narcissist, like I said, the moment you start to empower yourself, they will try their hardest to put you down. And that's exactly what happened with me. She took all of my stuff and put it in a trash bag. She broke vials of oil on purpose to douse them with the oil so the things that I had in there would be ruined. Books that I loved. She destroyed my spiritual practice back in those days, and it was very heartbreaking for me. And so, as you can see, talking about this even now does cause some form of resistance within me, and I know it's not right on my behalf. The right thing to do is to forgive and to surrender and keep moving forward. And likely you have gone through similar experiences, not the same exact one, but similar experiences where somebody beat you down, somebody did not respect you, they did not respect your space, they did not respect your sovereignty as a human being. And now you're being asked to A, push through this, B, surrender the need to control anything in your life, and C, most importantly, forgive these people. Forgive them for what they have done to you. Because if you hold this resentment deep within, it's blocking abundance for you. It's blocking the flow of love. Love is abundance. Abundance is love. Everything that we experience in this life, when it comes to material possessions, when it comes to anything, this physical structure, everything is in the frequency of love. This is all love. This is all divine love. Being able to experience this physical density is a privilege. As painful as it might seem, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be alive, to breathe. When was the last time you paid attention to your breath? I'd love for you to take a deep breath through your nose just now and really just let your lungs expand. And then the release. It feels freeing. It feels good. And it's something that we do every day and we don't pay attention to it. This is the beauty of life. It's all about the little things. Do you have a warm bed to sleep in? Does it smell clean? Like you washed it and it smells of lavender or whatever your favorite scent is. The softness of the texture because you have fabric softener. Being able to take a hot shower. Some people don't even have running water. It's a privilege to be where you're at. If you're watching me right now, that means you have access to the internet, which means that you are in a much more privileged state than most people on this planet right now. Surrender. It's important for us to let go for the need of control. Control is an illusion. There's no such thing as true control. Interestingly enough, the Emperor is sitting at the center of this reading here, which I will get to. Just don't want to forget that that's the case. And next to it is the Four of Discs, which is about holding back, control as well. You got two cards that are add up to four, or excuse me, both of these have four. These are both number fours. Interestingly enough, we got 2, 2, 2 here. We have the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and the High Priestess. Duality. Once again, duality is coming through very strongly. And I mean, even technically the Eon is 2 as well. You got 4 and 4. You got four fours here when you add them up. But anyway, the need to surrender is incredibly important. Surrender certain things to the divine. If you have no control over something, the easiest thing you could do is say, I'm releasing this to you. Spirit, source, universe, this, or call upon your angels and say, I want to give this to you. Please take it from me. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have to carry this burden alone anymore. Just, and think it, set the intention to let this weight be lifted from your shoulders and give it to the divine. And you'll see that you'll start to feel better over time. It might not happen initially. Even saying it, honestly, for me, gives me a sense of relief. Because I've had that happen recently. I'm like, I don't know how this is all going to work out. But you know what? As long as I'm happy, why should I care? I'm giving this over to you. Because if I give it over to you, at least you can help take care of things for me. Persevering. Is there something that you've been working through? Are you feeling down? Are you feeling beaten up? Are you feeling like you don't know how much more you can give? Because I'm here to tell you that you're more than capable. You are so incredibly capable. And if you're not recognizing that right now, I want you to, please. Because you are incredibly powerful. If you are on this path and you don't recognize your power, It's a shame because you need to step into that. It's time for you to step into your power. Step into your power because you are an incredibly powerful person. You are a sovereign being. Your decisions, no matter how small, have an impact on a grander scale than you can even imagine. Your presence in this life is changed the entirety of the future. If you guys are familiar with the butterfly effect, that's how that works. You don't even recognize how much of an impact you have for the people around you. If you were to be gone, the people around you would likely experience a form of loss because they'd be like, oh, so and so is gone now. I used to remember how, I don't know, if you work at an office or something, I used to remember she or he used to come in extra early and they would set up a pot of coffee. And every time that they were here, I knew that there were, and I came in at like 7 and they would be here at like, I don't know, 6 o'clock. And they would set up this pot of coffee. And so I didn't have to worry about going out to grab a cup of coffee because I'd have it instantly the moment I came into the office. Something along those lines. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, that sounds really small, but just for somebody, they're relying on you for their routine in their day. And if you're an empath, with even more reason, because not only that, you're an incredibly sweet soul. Being around you is uplifting for people. I've had this experience before. I never understood that. I never understood how important I was to others. Granted, a lot of those people are now out of my life because I've isolated myself to go on this journey. But I know that I made an impact on those people's lives. They'd say, whenever you're around, it's like everything is a lot better. And likely if you haven't had that told to you, likely that's the case for you as well. You have an impact. With the skunk spirit here, know your worth. You have canary spirit, sing your song. And we have koala spirit. Spirit has a plan, as always. Some people might get annoyed by that. The whole spirit has a plan. You're like, I don't know. Like maybe this. If you're vacillating, if you're feeling that way, I need you to wake up. I need you to wake up because there's no going back. There's only one way forward. Your ego would like to think that there's a way back, but there's not. This is what I was talking about in my urgent message from spirit about healing relationship patterns. It's time to wake up. So, skunk spirit, know your worth. What do you value? What do you believe in? Is your best, most authentic self on display? Skunk spirit comes as a reminder that you can be proud of who you are and what you have accomplished. Know your worth. Not everyone will agree with you or share your values, but you can walk with your head high, knowing that when you express your integrity, others can feel your authenticity and will be inspired by it. Be who you are, and if your reputation precedes you, good. You have much to be proud of, and skunk spirit wants you to be your best self, the true you. For the longest time, alluding to my story again, if you guys don't like me comparing myself to you guys in that sense, like I tell me, please leave a comment or something. The reason I share my story isn't to self-aggrandize myself or to be on a platform to talk about myself. The reason I share my story is because I feel that there's a sense of relation. Because when you hear somebody else's story, I feel that you can relate in that sense. For a long time, I felt that, like I said, I had to be a perfectionist. I felt that I had to behave a certain way, that if I didn't behave a certain way, then people wouldn't like me. And this came up in my relationship patterns. Like I said, recently I ruined something that could have been very good because I didn't recognize that I was wearing a mask, that I wasn't being authentic. I was being myself, but I wasn't being my true self. It was almost like if I can be the perfect person, then this person is going to want me. That is so toxic. That is such a toxic behavior. And I see it now. And so I'm thankful for him having come into my life. This is the lesson that was brought to me by the divine. And likely I taught that person a lesson as well. I don't know what it is, but hopefully they took away something positive from it. So I pretended to be this person that I wasn't. It wasn't like not necessarily my authentic self, because it is who I am. But at the same time, it was like I was trying to control the situation. I had to surrender it. I had to let things move at their own pace, and I had to be myself. And due to my past, I recognize one of my patterns is I can be emotionally manipulative at times. Man, the ego hates that I can say that. It's resisting right now. It's saying, why are you telling these people this? Why? Why? You're going to make yourself look bad. I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit. This isn't about me. It's about you. It's about hearing my story and seeing that at least I can recognize the defects within myself. Because once you recognize the patterns, once you see them for what they are, you can improve on them. You can build on them. You can break free. Do you see how important that is for you to acknowledge that you have a problem? Because then you can work on it. Because once you admit it to yourself, you can see it. And then you can really step into your true power here and know your worth. Because if I had to pretend to be somebody that I'm not to be with this person, then it's likely that it wasn't even meant for me in the first place. And the same goes for you. If you have to pretend to be somebody that you're not to be with a person, that person isn't for you. And if you build yourself and you start to change, especially with a narcissist, especially with a narcissistic partner, you will see how quickly they'll try to demean you and put you down. And for those of you who happen to have a decent relationship, eventually what'll happen is you'll outgrow that person, and then sometimes things just end. That's what happened with me. I came into contact with a catalyst soulmate. I swore he was my twin. I have no idea. I don't care at this point. I really don't. But I could have sworn this person was my twin at the time. And I said to myself, oh, I have to be with this person, and then this and that. And then I realized, oh my God, what have I been doing with all my life? I don't know what the heck. Why am I in a relationship with this person? And this person was a good person. The problem here wasn't him, although he did have his faults just like everybody else. The problem here was me, because to a certain extent, I wasn't emotionally available. How could I be true with a person like that, right? And in addition to that, why would I fall for somebody outside of the commitment that we had if I was truly whole within myself? Because that which we cannot obtain suddenly becomes more precious in the eyes of the ego, especially if you dealt with abandonment issues, like myself. Because now you're trying to prove to a person that you can be worth it, or that you're better somehow than the others, or that you're worth it at the end of the day. I can't really find a better way of expressing it, that you're worth it. Why are you needing to prove your worth to somebody else? If you're your authentic self and that person likes that about you, then likely you can move forward in that relationship if that person is a good fit for you. Otherwise, why are you wasting your time? Canary Spirit, sing your own song. It's time for you. You see the congruence between these two cards? There's a reason why Spirit is calling you to acknowledge who you are, your worth, and why you need to be yourself with Sing Your Own Song with the Canary Spirit here. I'm going to read from the book here. Canary Spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Free yourself to experience your inner light and let it shine, as Canary Spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary Spirit's message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. Do you see the synchronicity in what I was just talking about? For those of you who doubt the spiritual path, these synchronicities are God or the universe coming through. For the longest time, I doubted. But there's one channel that I really like watching. I think her name is, I think the name of the channel is Awakening to Spirit. I forgot her name. Very sweet lady. I love her to death. She's fantastic. And her readings are very spiritually attuned, which I love about her. There was one video, one day, I was doubting everything. I thought my awakening was bullshit. I thought everything was done. I told myself, I'm just going to stay high. I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to get crossfaded. I'm just going to fucking cope with life because it doesn't get any better. And then came upstairs, got on YouTube, because I spent a lot of my time here learning about things, watching tarot videos, learning about tarot, learning about spirituality, things of that nature. And one particular video, as soon as I refreshed the page, caught my eye. And it said something along the lines of, God is trying to communicate with you. And at that moment in time, I was like, whoa, That is weird because I'd been seeing numbers, I'd been seeing repeating signs, all sorts of stuff. You guys likely know what I'm talking about. The angel numbers, the repeating numbers, 222, 333, 444, etc. And in that video, she said, if you do not basically stand into your divine purpose, you're going to go through a massive tower moment, and Spirit doesn't want that. And she also said something that will stick with me for a very long time. She said, you will always catch God on the whisper, not on the shout. The universe is similar to a parent in the sense that when you were a kid and your parent said, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Please don't do that. You're going to get hurt. Or something along those lines, if you had, a parent that cared about you or somebody who cared about you, but they didn't shout it at you initially, unless, you had an abusive parent, in which case I'm sorry, because like I said, I've been there. But my mom, even though she was a narcissist on occasion, she would because she's not a full-blown narcissist. She's on, like I said, everybody's on a spectrum. She would say, don't do that. You're going to get hurt, or something along those lines. Or if it wasn't her, it was my aunt or somebody else. And then what would happen? Tower moment. You would fall down, skin your knee, whatever. Didn't I tell you? And then comes the shout. Didn't I tell you that this isn't what you should be? Right? Similarly, that's the universe speaking to you. It's saying, hey, just giving you a nudge. Hey, time to wake up. Hey, you probably shouldn't be doing that. So keep that in mind for those of you who are in doubt, because I feel that some of the people that are drawn to my channel need to hear that message. Koala Spirit is all about Spirit having a plan. It's all about recognizing the divine plan. I'm going to go ahead and usually I only read a couple of these, but I'm feeling the need to read this one as well. I usually interpret these intuitively, but in nature, the koala moves slowly through the branches of the eucalyptus tree, leisurely chewing the leaves, reminding us that life is not a race or competition. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need and that Spirit will always be there with gifts to sustain us. You are being asked to trust that by moving slowly with faith in the abundance that is everywhere, surrendering to a power greater than yourself, you will be able to experience the manifestation of your desire. As you take your time enjoying the riches available to you right now, sitting peacefully, you begin to radiate the joy and abundance you seek. Spirit is here to help you discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment, all gifts that are yours now and in the future. Have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for you, and know that you are loved and cherished. Some of you are likely, these cards here, Perseverance and Surrender, really tap into this particular card here. Some of you may be going through some struggles. Spirit is asking you to surrender control, for one, and persevere through it. Mindfulness right now is going to be incredibly important for you. For those of you who don't know how to practice mindfulness appropriately, read the book or listen to the audiobook. There should be an audiobook on YouTube for free. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. For those of you who are curious, I'm going to go ahead and run a slight exercise here for you. It's really easy. I took this from the book. But if you're curious about what mindfulness is like, I'm going to ask you a question. You can either ask yourself out loud to yourself, or ask yourself the question inside your head, like in your mind. What do you think your next thought will be? And if you ask yourself the question and you weren't being like a smart aleck about it, because I feel like somebody said, well, how the fuck would I know that? Or something along those lines. It's likely that if you did ask yourself the question, you were met with silence. That is pure unbridled consciousness. That silence is peace. That silence is what you should strive for. When you eat, when you drink, whatever it is that you're doing, try to tap into that state of quiet and peace and focus on the moment. That is the only moment that truly exists. For a very long time, I was obsessed with time, like ADHD level obsessed with time. And I've shared this in one of my other videos, to the point where I would stress out about going to bed. Oh my God, it's 12 o'clock already. So I used to open at Starbucks. So I'd be like, okay, I got 6 hours of free time. What am I going to do? Okay, well, I should probably shower but then I got to cook, and that's going to take me like another hour. So really I only have about 4.5 hours of free time. And then, depending on that, maybe I'll get caught into a conversation with somebody and like obsessive thinking about time, obsessive. I never knew a moment of peace. I was constantly living in the future. This is why mindfulness is important. So let's get into the tarot. So we got the 10 of Discs here, the 2 of Pentacles, the Eon, some sort of decision either was made or will be made. We have the Princess of Wands, or the Page of Wands. We have the Emperor at the center of the reading, Divine Masculine. 4 of Discs, 2 of Wands, planning. Okay, this is good. The Star, healing, hope. The Priestess, divine feminine energy here. For those of you, interestingly enough, I got this little insight here. The divine masculine is currently still in his 3D egoic state. For those of you who are on the twin journey and you know who it is, this is him. This is you. You're living currently a life more spiritually attuned than likely you've ever had before. Now, some of you are wrapping up some sort of cycle when it comes to money here, because this is the 10 of Discs. Some of you are just working on your finances, I'm getting. Trying to get a stable grasp on finances. Some of you may have come out of this state. I'm not seeing the Tower here or anything like that. But this could be in relation to a job or an idea that you have that could be financially abundant. We have the 2 of Pentacles here. Indecision. In this particular deck, it's named Change. You could be going through a process of not knowing what to do. Saying, maybe this, maybe that. I'm not really sure. With the Eon here, this is also known as Judgment. You're either A, at a crossroads between making a decision, in particular, likely dealing with money here, because we do have the Pentacles. We have 3 Pentacle cards here, 2 of them being connected with the Eon. This could very well be some sort of awakening, enlightening experience, likely regarding money and abundance as well. And you're kind of in between worlds right now. That's coming through for me. For some of you, you're kind of in between worlds, and the experience between the material and the spiritual. It's like you have one foot in one world, one foot in the other. With the Princess of Wands, this really confirms that to me, because this card could also speak of spiritual insights and awakening. This is a very this is a card of manifestation. It's a card of passion. Brand new ideas that are based in passion, desire. And passion, desire doesn't have to be in the sense of lust. It could be in the sense of creativity, of wanting more in life. With the Emperor here, you could be dealing with an Aries. But the Emperor here is, I see. Okay, I just got a different interpretation of the cards here. You have somebody in your life right now that is likely a narcissist, because the Emperor is a very egoic being. It's a very egoic card to have, especially when not paired with the Empress. And the controlling nature of the Emperor is really coming out with this card, the 4 of Discs. The 4 of Discs, or the 4 of Pentacles, is often depicted in the Rider-Waite deck as a man who's clutching onto a coin to his chest. This is like the wannabe emperor. He holds a coin clutched to his chest. His feet are planted on the ground with a pentacle below each one, and 1 pentacle on his head. 2 of Discs right above him. It looks like you're likely starting to recognize that there is some sort of narcissistic person around in your life that is in control of your finances. You're likely trying to release yourself from these constrictions. And you're trying to hold on to likely whatever wealth you have at this moment in time. Four of Discs is about trying to create a stable foundation. In this particular deck, it doesn't have that the necessarily the same connotation that it has in other decks, because this card is referred to as power. But being next to the Emperor, I'm getting the sense here that somebody is trying to establish dominance in your life by likely providing for you financially, or trying to take money away from you, or saying, I'm doing you a favor. I'm keeping things together for you right now. I'm providing a stable home for you, or I'm providing a stable foundation for you. You've likely had insights regarding this. I'm getting, interestingly enough, a sense of freedom from this card, especially since the card before it is the Eon, as I read them from left to right here. Two of Wands. In this deck, it's called Dominion, but this card speaks of planning and manifesting. This card is about putting the intention to manifest things into your life. It's not the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is waiting for the manifestation to come in, and then the Four of Wands is the stability that comes from the manifestation itself. You're currently in the state of trying to bring in something new. With the star here, this card is the sign of Aquarius. Some of you could be dealing with an Aquarian. But this is about hope and healing. And you can see how many spirals there are in this card. I forgot the name of that tarot channel. Cheryl Lee Harnish, I think it is. Something along those lines. She says whenever spirals are present in the cards, they're symbols for healing. So you're going through some massive healing right now. It's likely that this healing is helping you with your manifestation, and you're stepping into the spiritual nature of your being. This card is a sign of, this could be a Pisces or Cancer. Look what she has before her. It's almost as if she's casting a net, and below her are all these fruits. It's almost, and diamonds. It's almost as if you're stepping into the spiritual abundance. This is spiritual. This card speaks of spiritual abundance to me. It looks like you guys are stepping into a space of spiritual abundance by doing the healing work, releasing yourself from old patterns with the universe. The universe is saying that you're clearing out an old pattern. You're clearing out something that no longer serves you. This is a brand new beginning for you. You likely have been experiencing a lot of endings, a lot of situations leaving your life. However, there is a need for you to release control right now. Follow your intuition with the High Priestess. Spirit has a plan. Do remember that. And you need to step into your power. If you're not dealing with a narcissist, this Emperor is likely the energy of you trying to get yourself into a more balanced state and stepping into the divine masculine aspects of yourself to establish a sense of stability and control in your life. You're finally stepping into your power, and you're holding on for dear life with the Four of Discs here. Your finances may be in flux with the Ten of Pentacles or the Ten of Discs and the Two of Discs. And there's a need for release with the Eon. There's a need for release of control when it comes to finances. Leave it to the divine. If you're stepping into your power, got another ringing in my ears. If you're stepping into your power, if you're more attuned to the spiritual path, then you would know that by releasing the need to control finances to the divine when you've already started the work that you need to, and you already know that you're on the right path, leave it to the divine. The divine is helping you out. You just need to spend some time healing yourself, focusing on your spiritual path, and focusing on the manifestation. Coming from a balanced state. What messages do we have for our viewers here? Got one. I'm using the golden wheel now. For those of you wondering what the name of these cards are, look at this. Wow. This is the Isis Oracle. This is the Thoth deck. The cards with the emotions are the Soul's Journey Oracle. The animal cards here are the Spirit Animal Oracle. And I have the golden wheel. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Some of you may have gone through a heartbreak recently. Three of Swords, bottom of the deck. This could have been likely a situation that was financial with the Six of Wheels. Something where there was either no equal give and take, or somebody who was draining your finances. This could have been a marriage for some of you. We have 3 cards that came out here. The wheel is turning for you. This is the card of Sagittarius. So some of you could be dealing with the Sagittarian. There is a massive cycle being closed out for you. Because we have the universe and the Wheel of Fortune here. And with the Eon, or Judgment, coming out twice, this is your ascension. I'm getting the sense of ascension process. A lot of you may be stepping into a balance between the masculine and feminine energies here. The King of Cups is a divine feminine energy in a masculine form. Stepping into your power by recognizing your ability to deal with situations from a place of perfect blending of the logical and emotional. I'm curious about this Emperor at the center of the reading. What is this Emperor about? I don't know if you guys like to see the shuffling. I kind of just let the cards fall out. Everybody has their own way of doing this. What's this Emperor about? Interesting. Transformation. We have death. Some of you could be going through a massive transformation right now. Six of Wands. Forward movement. Victory. This card is this is a fantastic combination here. Likely after a period of vacillation. Look at that. Two of Wheels. Got that twice here. Some of you are coming into balance between the masculine and feminine energies. This has been an extremely transformative process for you. Likely after a great deal of introspection, with the Hermit being at the bottom of the deck. Let's see a Priestess about. The Magician. Manifesting. Recognizing that you have all the power within you to manifest whatever it is you want. Look at that. High Priestess again. You are so attuned with your spiritual divine gifts. The World, once more. Closing out a previous cycle. Likely a cycle where you were unsure of yourself. Likely a cycle of understanding, or rather, a cycle of not understanding the power that you held within. If you have not stepped into this energy yet, you will be soon. What is the Eon about, Spirit? Page of Cups, some sort of a apology. This could be not a naive way of looking at love, but a very, very sweet, romantic, dreamy way of looking at love. Yes. It looks like in the past, this is likely the way you were looking at love. It's a very sweet, romantic way of looking at it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's likely led you to a lot of heartache and loss. That's what these 3 cards are about. The Wheel, closing out that cycle. Judgment, an awakening, a realization, a release. And look at where you're coming through in love now. King of Cups. Somebody emotionally mature. Somebody who understands how love works. That love comes after working on yourself and recognizing your power first. I'm going to draw some cards from the Angel Oracle, Archangel Oracle cards, power cards, or something along those lines. But you are closing out a cycle when it comes to love, when it comes to money, when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to who you are. This is fantastic energy to be stepping into. And this is really in congruence with all the other cards that I was channeling and the cards that were pulled. Finally coming into balance within yourself. Alrighty, if you're enjoying the content, please do hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel out with its growth, and it allows me to deliver messages to people who are just like you. We're looking for a little bit of clarity in their lives. Alright, let's see what the angels have for you today in terms of advice, or just in general, what angels are working with you right now, and what angels... Look at this, wow. What angels you can call upon if you're to work with them and all that good stuff. Let's see what we have here, holy angels. Wow. Yeah, you wanted to come out yesterday. Look at this, bottom of the deck. Love and accept yourself. Thank you, angels, for lovingly guiding me to self-acceptance. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. And it's really in congruence with the message coming through here. Balance. Thank you, angels, for bringing my life into balance. Just want to see the synchronicity there, guys. We have change and transition. Thank you, angels, or excuse me, thank you, Azrael, for leading me safely through this change. A lot of you are going through some massive changes with all these cycles closing out. And it's okay. Call upon Azrael in order to help you change through these changes in transition. I mean, look at this. 2 of Pentacles, change. 2 of Discs, and you have that twice. We have leap of faith. I'm ready to take a leap, angels. Thank you for doing it with me. So if you've been thinking about starting something new, the angels are encouraging you to move forward. I'm being called to pull one card from the Wild Unknown Animal, Spirit Animal deck. What do we have here? Okay, there it is. Sea Serpent. This card is a card of deep healing. Allowing the divine to heal you by opening up to the divine source. Healing emotional wounds, expressing desires. The sea serpent represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotion, creativity, sensuality, or desire. The sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, there's that balance word again. We express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness, there's forgiveness, in to heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in the muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember, no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in a gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true natures. As you can see, this is really what this journey is about for you. It's time to heal, guys. It's time for you to look at things from a different perspective with the eagle at the bottom of the deck. Look at this from the perspective of the divine plan. So, with that being said, thank you so much for having joined me here today. I hope you found some value in this content. I am sending you much love and light. Take care.